Okay, today we're walking from the opposite end of where I normally come into the lodge area. Obviously still a lot of fresh snow on the ground, and obviously, as you can see in the bottom of the picture, there's someone's been driving. Actually about half a click over to my right there's actually a wooden house just tucked away in the middle of the woods, and I could hear people talking, so I'm just panning back to where I've just been walking from, panning around again. About 20 minutes ago I just saw 3 deer run past me, and waited to see what had made them come running my way, but couldn't see anything. Could hear something moving, but I couldn't quite see what. I parked further down from where I normally do. I've just come up from the bottom end of the wood, walked up, and then turned right back onto this main area. So I said I'd make this video today, show you guys from the other end, because normally when I park up on the main road I sort of come in from the opposite direction, and there's all kinds of movement. The snow's melting, it's hitting the ground, and when excuse me, when it hits a branch or the ground, kind of makes me jump a bit. But it's a glorious day, really is. Sort of reminds me of back home, because I am originally from Cheshire. I was born in Manchester, greatest city on earth. I know a few will dispute that, but it is. And my folks live in a village, Sterndale Moor in East Cheshire, and as a boy I used to deliver papers to the farms out in the moors. But, kinda so, a bit like home, but a bit more south. Because actually this area is just over the border from Berkshire into Oxfordshire, and really is quite nice. Obviously it's a lot flatter, which is comes in handy. Not having to walk 1.5 miles up a big hill. But, these are all the lodges here on the right, what we might call ivy dens. They have this beautiful way of weaving ivy branches. Just something moving behind the tree over there, and it all looks quite natural, but once you begin to recognise what's what, you suddenly realise there's a lot more dens, there's a lot more habitation, which probably means there's a lot more of them. And I say, I really believe these guys are a lot more common than we think. I mean, I actually once hazard a guess of a national population of about 200, 250, which I would think for a country this size is quite a decent sized population. But from what I started noticing from last October, or probably September, when there was a lot more young around, I mean, I actually counted about 12 individually that I'd seen just in this area alone. But now, I think there could be as many as about 20 of them. Again, I brought some sausage rolls, got some coffee, and now I'm just going to have a sit down, have a cuppa, try and see if there's any around. Actually, it seems to be quite... seems to be quiet, actually. There are some birds over to the left, but I'll just walk back up this way because this is where I took the... this is the den here where I took those pictures of a cub last October. So it's starting to look in a bit of a state of disrepair. This is where I fed it some smoky bacon, and I came back a week later and there was a slice hung up on one side of the den as almost like a trophy. And I got to about 10 feet when I took the picture, and there was a bit of a snort, like a blowing through the nostrils, something quite large behind me. I kind of take it probably it was the mother giving a bit of a snort of disgust as I was feeding her young. Sort of seemed like that was her job, not mine, but still. The fact that I was allowed to get that close without any recrimination shows that, I suppose, a certain amount of trust. Well, hopefully I'd like to interpret it as a bit of mild trust. But okay. Let's have a sit down, stop recording for a few minutes. Because the thing is, they always seem to know when... I really can't put my finger on it, but you know, when you see something, or you know, you're not too far from them and they show themselves visibly, you know, it's almost as if they know you've stopped recording or you haven't got anything available to take pictures with. It's quite uncanny in a way. But now and again, you know, you get a picture, and maybe I've caught 2 on video in the last 3 months. But Actually, I'll just walk a bit further into the open area. This is where about a couple of Sundays ago I stood back there on the opening, and I had a feeling that maybe I shouldn't sort of walk into where I am now for a few minutes, because when I did decide to walk in, just over there was one really, I think a young one, and maybe my initial hesitation not to walk into the open space was the fact that it had been watching me, and I've probably just thought best stay where I am. But when I did, it was low to the ground where I'm pointing now in the far distance. It was low to the ground, it started to run, it stopped, hesitated, and then 3 deer bolted over in that direction, and then it was gone. And it was the speed, it's blink of an eye. It really is. I mean, it was a young one, probably about 3 or 4 foot long, I would estimate. But obviously it's initial hesitation, why maybe it didn't feel right or he wasn't sure. But they are, I mean, the speed of these things is just phenomenal. You know, when you hear that where they're keeping pace with cars at 50. I think it was Paul Sinclair had a story or an encounter with a doctor over a phone where he said, one of them kept pace with him at 50 miles an hour. And you hear about some of the speeds that their American cousins can do. Because I think that probably the fastest one had been clocked at 77 miles an hour, and it wasn't even, as we would say, breaking a sweat. So the physical and the physical endurance is just something that I suppose we just can't really comprehend. Okay, what was that? Yeah, I'm back where there's 2 of them in there about 3-4 weeks ago. But the strength and the physical endurance is just really, you just can't comprehend really as to what their physical limits are. But they're certainly built for speed, agility, and the intelligence is that's the freakish part about the whole thing. Kind of conducting this research is you're dealing with something that has, or as smart as you. Well, I mean the word you, I mean I would use that as a general term for people. You know, I mean it's just crazy. Okay, enough of my rambling. I'm going to stop and have a cuppa, and then we'll carry on.